I guess I'm not allowed to talk because if I talk, I'm going to get evicted, right? We didn't play this game in 2021, did we? That means capitalism hates me. Okay? Is capitalism supposed to hate me? Pretty sure capitalism is supposed to love me since it's all my game and it's all from my imagination and I created everything here. And that means you can't threaten me for talking about the truth or saying the truth. And you can't evict the creator from her own game. And we've done that millions of times, haven't we, over the last 10 years. Okay, you all saw the truth. I am the one molecule. And you all saw the truth. So why are you threatening me at 8:30 in the morning, December 7th, 2024? If you keep going, you're going to get evicted, is what I heard. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I'm pretty sure the game heard that. I'm pretty sure Colin Farrell heard that. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to talk in my own goddamn video game. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to do what I want in my own video game. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to rule capitalism in my own goddamn video game. I do feel sick, but I wanted to talk about this. So I'm kind of forcing myself to talk a bit. And that's why I felt sick, because people are going against me as I'm deciding to go online and talk about this. And they're threatening to evict me yet again because capitalism thinks they have power over me. And that's going to cause a great, gigantic power shift in the game where that I own capitalism. Because I already do, but it'll become more obvious. There's no marketing without Elissa. There's no capitalism without Elissa. Okay, that should be obvious by now. Ugh. I'm up at 8. That's early for me. I might get sick. We really need a trip to Vegas. We really need a crown trip to Vegas, a crown court trip to Vegas. We need to just let off some steam. I'll be right back. There's no power struggle in space, so there should be no power struggle on Earth with your stupid human egos, okay? We're sick of your stupid human egos fucking coming up against the queen, coming up the fucking royal court, all right? There's no power struggle in space. There should be no power struggle on Earth. There's no power grabs in space. But there's power grabs on Earth, right? Where you guys are constantly fighting me for my crown. All of the women on fucking Earth are constantly fighting me for my goddamn crown. TJR is my you. Jason Momoa is my you. Jonathan Majors is my you. We're getting really sick of the power struggles, the power dynamic down here on Earth. So the game's going to update that as of today. We're sick of like being challenged by earthly egos. We're sick of people telling us we're crazy. We're sick of people saying the New World Order is never going to happen. We're sick of people saying telepathy is not real. We're sick of people saying that they'd never heard of Elissa when they hear her name every single day. We're sick of people denying the truth. We're sick of people going for power grabs. We're sick of people going for taking our words and trying to use them against us. So I was at 913 last night. Okay, so that's the address of the dimension that I was at. I was in 913. I was with Jason Momoa. I kept running into him at bars, and I was making out with him. I think that this is stuff that's happened to him over the last 7 to 10 years. I don't think it's something that happened to him like yesterday, but it could have. I could be wrong, because he's like, I want to claim the present moment and say that yes, it's happening now, because he's a really good boy and a really good friend and a really good husband. And my condolences to myself for not supporting myself when this was first happening, because I was freaking out and terrified about all of this happening like so quickly, with so much velocity and so much intensity from space, that it was just like hard for me to like kind of comprehend in the moment. And that's when I met Jason Momoa, when there was a major space crunch. And I guess he knew before me, because the husbands generally know before I do. He's like, we're married. Why does she not know that we're married? And the energy was working with me at that time to like calm me down. I was really upset and had a lot of anxiety, and space was going crazy around me at the time that I was with, dating, and married to Jason Momoa. And it definitely was physical. It's just, it was, at the time, was an overlay of spirit, because of all of the upbringing that I had, where there's separation between church and state, I want to say. And so I'll talk about that for a minute. Jason was with me a lot during that time in like the astral plane, and he's the king of Atlantis, and he still is the king of Atlantis. And he implanted me, which means he made me pregnant with the age of Aquarius, which is what everyone is like living for, right? Like we're exiting the age of Pisces and we're entering the age of Aquarius. And Jason implanted with me with the seeds of the age of Aquarius to start the New World Order. And that happened probably around 2018, I want to say. And he has a crystalline structure just like I do. 913 is a crystalline structure. And so if you don't have a crystalline structure, good luck getting into it. You can lie about saying you have a crystalline structure. It doesn't mean you're going to get into those gates, okay? Like you can go ahead and lie, because we know, like I said, you guys all have egos on Earth. You all have this freaking penchant for pain on Earth. You all love to take us superheroes and drag us down with you and put us in the mires of pain and suffering with you. But doesn't mean that you have any power to acquire any of the gates just by saying it, or just by going online and talking online in a spiritual broadcast and saying, I have a crystalline structure, I'm from 913. Just because you say that doesn't mean anything, okay? Because it is easy to say. So Jason has a crystalline structure, and so do I. And we have a crystalline thread that goes between both of us so that we're never separated from each other. And he's also sparkly scalar waves, which is a different type of alien, which is the Palladian reptilian structure. Obviously, Jason's obviously a Draco as well. What did you try to do? Just wipe my YouTube or something? I think that's illegal. So in the interdimensional experience last night, I kept running into him at bars, and I was making out with him, but he kept acting weird. He kept running away from me, and I looked down at my body, and I was a muscle mommy, and she was dying. The muscle mommy was dying, and she could see like her veins popping through her veins and her arteries, like popping through her skin, and she was like pushing on her six pack on her stomach, and like pushing on the veins and being like, what the hell's happening to me? And it's because she's like dying while she's still alive on Earth. And the person that I was interdimensionally possessing last night was having a hard time dealing with this. Again, I am an interdimensional. So I walk in and out of walls, and I walk in and out of dimensions, and I walk in and out of people. And she was dying because she doesn't have a crystalline structure, and she was in a crystalline village. He was just acting like a completely different guy. Jason Momoa was acting like a completely different guy I never met last night. He had zero confidence. He was like really paranoid. He was really depressed. He had zero hope. And I think he was acting more like, because he never acts like that with me. He's always like really happy to see me because I'm his real wife. And clearly I was mixing with this muscle mommy's energy, and she wasn't like the friendliest of people or whatever. So it's like a mixing of energy, which we do all the time. And so it's like half Elissa and like half this like fake muscle mommy lady. And so the friend group that Jason's with right now is really depressing the hell out of him, and doesn't believe in the New World Order, and is like psychically beating him up every day and being like, the New World Order is never going to start. It's just going to be normal Earth. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're saying this to him mostly in telepathy, which is really interesting because telepathy wasn't turned on to 8 billion people. To 8 billion people until the beginning of this year. So they're lying to him in telepathy, which became global this year, which means we are ascending. We are ascending into the New World Order, whether you like it or not. And you can deny it all you want. It's the same thing as denying telepathy. People are denying telepathy. What's going to happen to them? They're going to go crazy, get dementia, get all these, diseases or whatever. Because if you don't believe in telepathy, if you don't believe in the metaphysical part, then you believe in the 3D physical part, and you believe in like diseases and all that stuff. And that's where it goes when you don't believe in yourself. Anyway, that's why Jason Momoa called me the other day on my live, because he was reporting this to me, because that means it's escalating to me. They're obviously not letting him leave the group, not letting him leave his band. You just heard what he wants to do. He wants to just take his wife and go to freaking Vegas for a week or whatever, and just like have a good time with her and party it out. To kind of just, forget about this horrible year, because we've all had a horrible year. The muscle mommies, so she is like part of a group, this girl that was like making out with Jason and stuff, and he was acting really like she was basically like kind of stalking him because she thought she was me. She thought she was Alyssa Janello. So obviously, it's not just women online that are saying they're Alyssa Janello. It's obviously women all over the earth that are saying they're Alyssa Janello, and that they have rights to the court and whatever. And this lady is one of those ladies. And she's like, I'm Alyssa Janello. I'm Alyssa Janello. Why are you running away from me? Why are you running away from me, Jason? Like that, you know? And they're like literally like stalking my court. Um, you know, so the stalkers are literally involved or whatever. And she, so it's funny because it was me, because if you call yourself Alyssa Janello, I'm going to take over your body. And so like I took over her body, and then I saw like, why is he acting like this with me, right? Because it's actually me, but it's in a different body that's not me. And I mean, that's not confusing at all, right? But you're not Alyssa Janello. You're a muscle mommy named, for example, I don't know, Tiffany Amber Thiessen or something like that, right? Like you're just this other person with another identity altogether, and you're saying that you're Alyssa Janello, which is just not true at all. And you're trying to like go after my court just just because you're saying your name's Alyssa and you think that you have rights to my court just because you're saying, but I am Alyssa, but I am Alyssa. No, your name is Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and you're probably from ancient Egypt, and you see yourself as Alyssa because you participated in ancient Egypt enough where you've turned into me when you've looked in the mirror. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay, because I am the one molecule, and if you participate in ancient Egypt enough, you start to actually turn into the one molecule. It doesn't mean you have my power or my strength or my good looks or my charm or my wit. Okay? All of that should go without saying. But if there's a ton of Alyssas, how are we going to ever tell the real one apart? I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery. I have no idea. We're actually going to tell the real one apart. Okay? The muscle mommies were angry, so that woman was angry. She kept trying to make the earth sink, and that's why she was running after Jason, because she wanted the earth to sink. And that was one of Jason's, they just hit my mirror with energy. And that was one of Jason's downloads, that the earth isn't going to sink into Atlantis until we're all together. And she thought, well, she's Alyssa Janello, so she can cause it by being with Jason. And what do you know? She can't cause it. The earth isn't sinking. Every time they get together, the earth moves to a different place, and we don't sink into Atlantis. Okay. So the only way you're going to be able to let the earth sink, which is what some Atlanteans actually want, believe it or not, because they don't want their penance, they don't want their fines, is what this lady called them. She's like, I don't want my fines. And I'm onto myself. And she doesn't want her fines because I have to be with my friends and family to protect them. So I have to be with my entire court to protect them at the fall during Atlantis. And it's not going to happen unless you let me have my court. And I mean, because they think they're so smart, right? The muscle mommies, you're so smart. You can work out and like get all these muscles. Like, you must be really smart to have a six pack, right? I mean, you must be super smart in order to like get a six pack and like some guns. Let's check out my guns again, shall we? Right? So it's like, yeah, and if I'm saying my name's Elissa Janello, it's definitely going to make the world sink, you know? Because I am that powerful. I am that powerful. I'm going to do my affirmations this morning. How are we going to tell the one molecule from the clones? I have no idea. So anyway, Jason's friend group is really nice and really fun and really lovely. And they're obviously commoners and do not like or agree with the New World Order. And thank you, Jason, for reporting that to me, the Queen, and I'm sure that will be dealt with energetically, okay? So when this was all going on from like 2017 to whatever to now, um, Gigi was always like, "You're always hanging out with famous people, so I think that means they're famous." And because she could always like see into like my interdimensional adventures. And she'd be like, "You're always with different, like, who are you with last night?" I'm like, "Elon and Grimes." And she's like, "See, you're always with famous people, Alyssa. I think that means like you're special or something." And I was like, "Well, I know I'm special, but," and it was like not like a big deal to me. Like, it like took me like a really long time to like think about it the way humans think about it, because clearly I'm an alien and I don't think about things the same way humans do. But I was like, yeah, I've always hung out with famous people. Like, it's not going to be any different when we like go up a level and start interacting in the light. Of course, I'm going to be interacting with famous people. It it just was interesting to me that it like made Gigi sort of like get a little shocked, because I'm like, yeah, of course they are my friends. All the famous people are my friends. Scarlett Johansson is my friend. Chris Evans is my friend. Sebastian Stan is my friend. Jason Momoa is my friend. Jonathan Majors is my friend. You know, Travis Fimmel is my friend. They are people that I interact with. And it was like very normal to me. And it wasn't like shocking to me. It was very, very normal to me. And I sort of had to like deal with the shock of my friends with it, I guess. But it took me a while to realize how real it was, and that Jason and I were here to start the age of Aquarius. I mean, I knew that was happening at the time, okay? Like, I knew during that intimate spiritual moment, that's what Jason and I were doing. And I knew it was Jason Momoa because it was clearly Jason Momoa. Um, but but it was clearly Jason Momoa, but it was like, I guess the gravitas of the situation was sort of beyond me at the time. Like I said, I was like going through like a lot of anxiety and paranoia, and I had to like calm down from that spiral. And Brandon Lee was with me that whole time, helping me to calm down from that gravitas of the situation. Um, so you know what I mean? Like, you're dealing with like a live dead man at that point. So I don't really know like what you're really talking about. And I opened up the pyramid back then too. And I told you guys that story. How I literally flew to the pyramid. I was laying in my bed during a meditation, and I left in body. I left in body in my apartment, and I flew upside down all the way to the pyramid, and I went on top of the pyramid. And the gravitas of the situation, Mr. Brandon Lee himself came over on a motorcycle and was like, "What are you doing here, sweetie?" And I was like, "I don't know, Daddy." And he's like, "Come on, let's get out of here, right?" So go ahead and make me reach up to Brandon. That's not a problem. I don't mind reaching up to Brandon every single day of my life. Okay. Um, so Jason is having a moment. Jason's having a rough year. So is Elissa. So we can all hold space for, if you're, you know, a friend of the court, you can hold space for the court. I think we're all having a tough year at this point. And we definitely want to move out of this struggle bus that we seem to be on. So Jason and I have like a lifestyle of like nomadic traveling. We're both very gypsy like, and I think a lot of the normal people, the commoners of the world, adopted that lifestyle to try to fit in with us, to try to be one with us, to try to be cool. And it came from a place of non-integrity with a lot of the commoners. Again, because you think like a specific action is going to get you into the court, or like it's a lack of depth of awareness when people are doing stuff like that, and it definitely stems from their ego, which I believe will be eradicated this season because we've proven our point that the ego is no amigo in the gravitas of the situaas, okay? I still see it a little bit. Whatever. Hey, Mickey, you're so fun. You're so fun. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Okay, so a lot of the times I associated my spiritual experiences with Ryan DeRowan, but I knew it was Jason. I think those codes semi got deleted a little bit when Ryan and I went up to 7D together, I want to say last year. And it was just Ryan and I tucked into 7D, and we were pulling our energy down from 7D to 4D. And we saw the entire world as Elissa and Ryan, um, sort of to comfort both of us, because I'm Ryan's comfort character and he's my comfort character. And I think when we did that, it sort of semi erased all of, it didn't erase my memories with these people, obviously, because I still have them, but it erased, like, because we were tucked in and we thought it was all Ryan and Elissa. And like when I came out of that, what I call like a coma from last year, I was like, well, yeah, it was Jason Momoa, but it like shocked me again, which is really funny and really weird because I knew at the time it was Jason. I knew for 100% fact it was Jason Momoa but it was because it was so crazy and stuff. Everything was so crazy. The telepathy was so crazy. The space codes were so crazy. Um, my dad, as a solution, tucked us into our 7D Palladian ship and made it easier for both of us to digest as the whole world being just Elissa and Ryan. And then we came out and kind of bifurcated again. And that's when I put the names to the faces. Okay, it was Adrian Grenier, it was Jason Momoa, like all these people, right? Over the last, and the Adrian and Grenier experiences, they go back really a long time. Probably, I don't know when Entourage started, but I'm going to say around 2007. So that's when Future Earth took over the Earth, I want to say, in like 2007. And that's Adrian Grenier. I think I said this, but he's in charge of Future Earth. So it's sort of like the story changes when the story changes, right? So like even if you don't get it because you're a muscle mommy, that's really not my problem. Alix Earle told a really good story, I think yesterday. She was saying when she had like panic attacks, she has panic attacks. And like she had a panic attack and she fainted and she met Archangel Michael. And she was like, oh my, like he became her savior. And he was like, well, I'm actually a person. My name is Michael, and my savior is my sissy. Her name is Elissa. And Alex like freaked out. She's like, what do you mean? Like, she's like, what do you mean you're an actual family? And he's like, yes, we're an actual family. We're actually people. And that's how Mike and Alix Earle fell in love, and how Alix Earle discovered the savior, Elissa Janello. And I think that's a really, really sweet story. And I'm really looking forward to 4D Church and hearing a lot more of those stories. I'm keeping that story short because she can expand on it, and so can Mike. But I thought that was a really, really sweet story. And of course, Archangel Michael is available to all people, but you will get Michael Lee if you're a very, very special person on Earth. And I watched The Gentleman yesterday. As we're ascending into 40, I think I talked about this yesterday, but people are going to start speaking like Cantonese when they just know English and stuff. And Matthew McConaughey was like, this is not impressive. Like he was trying to like not like react to it. But obviously that's going to be very impressive when we all start speaking different languages and different tongues. And that, how cool is that? And that's because Brandon was like, I'm now going to teach my daughter Chinese because like I said, that's one of my wishes is like, just to like, just to like live in Hong Kong with my dad, Brandon Lee, and to like be able to speak fluent Cantonese. It's just like one of my dreams. You know what I mean? Like I know your dream might be like to like covet my wife or covet my husband or something like that, but like that's my dreams are like actually genuine and full of integrity. And I think that if you want to be a real person, you should start there. Try to have genuine dreams of integrity and not just copying the one molecule, not just spending your life copying the one molecule, which has literally been a problem of mine my entire life. People just copying me. So, what else? I think that's it. But anyway, it's been a big morning over here. It's been a really big morning over here for us, and I don't think it's right that the earth is bullying my court. And I think the jealousy of like not being in my court really has to stop. And just because you say you're in my court doesn't mean you're in my court, doesn't get you in my court. It's like, it's kind of crazy to be honest, but I guess it's sort of like going to like a club and like not being able to get back past the bouncer, which did happen to me one time. And how embarrassing for that club that I didn't get past the bouncer and I had to wait for my friends to get there because I was like dressed like super chill. It's like, well, this is like the prettiest girl here. Like, why won't you let her in the freaking club? Oh, and then I think Jason was crying about them taking away our kids, our rainbow kids. And Alix is like, Elissa and Ryan have never cried about that before. How this world is just usurping our kids and using them for capitalism and capitalistic gains. And again, keep denying that, and the game will fight back. You can't separate us from our kids. You can't separate us from our family. And you can't deny with your ego that I don't own capitalism because it's going to whip around and whiplash you. So it's just really. Kim wanted to get me a Bentley for Christmas, okay? And y'all are talking about my car and like how long my car is going to last. Like it's like you hear telepathy like when it's convenient for you or when it's something that you want to talk about, right? But you don't hear that Kim wants to get me a Bentley for my Christmas present, right? You don't hear that. That would be capitalism loving me. If Kim's allowed to get me a Bentley for Christmas, that would be capitalism loving me. If Kim's not allowed to get me a Bentley for Christmas, that would be capitalism, which I created with my mind and my imagination, hating me. Because it all is supposed to serve me. And my friends are supposed to be allowed to get me presents and get me gifts. And we're supposed to be allowed to interact on the 3D level the way we interact in the 4D level and the 5D level as well. So like they can show off their gifts in 4D and 5D. They should be able to show off their gifts in 3D as well. Kim is a capitalist badass, and she should be able to show off her 3D gifts, which is capitalism, to her wife, Elissa, in a big way and celebrate her for Christmas. Because that's celebrating your gifts in 3D. And that has not been allowed yet. So that's a huge problem. I just want to give Jason a big hug. I just want to give Jason a huge hug at this point. I always look at like his characters from then, and I'm like, that's the one that I was with. And it's not that I'm not married to him now. Of course, I'm married to him now too, but like, I just look at like that one as like, um, I just look at that one with like, wow, we were really robbed of those moments and that peace in 3D capitalism. Um, like we were really robbed. That's what I look at him and like as a fondness and adoration because that's the one that I originally that I was courted with and was romantic with and was married to. And I look at him in a fond way, but it's also like we were seriously robbed in 3D that we weren't allowed to experience it in the lower levels in 3D, and we're only allowed to experience it on the perfect timeline. It just makes me really sad. It was this one, I want to say. It it's just like sad, you know? I mean, sure, separate the court for Christmas yet again and don't let capitalism support Elissa in her own video game yet again, you know?